One of the biggest issues for the construction industry in 2012 is the establishment of the Ontario College of Trades. Merit Ontario is a member of a coalition that called for the abolition or complete overhaul of the college, citing issues with its governance structure. Frank Viti, President and CEO of Merit OpenShop Contractors Association of Ontario, said his organization would like to see a more accurate reflection of the open shop and closed shop stakeholder groups within the college.
Closed shop represents about 30% of the industry. We're about 70% in terms of employers and way above that in terms of employees. We'd like to see a college of trade that's a governance structure that's more balanced around a 50-50 split at minimum around when they're making decision making. So that's a very, very serious issue for us. We'll continue to work with the chair of the Board of Governors around our issues and concerns. We'd like to see some real progress over the next 6 months or so around some of the very first activities, which I believe will be the ratio reviews, which are underway. We'd like to see an evidence-based approach when it comes to any decision making. So, the College of Trade has a strong mandate around research, as well as membership registry, as well as training. And that research should be informing the decisions that are made around ratios, around compulsory certification, and around the training issues.
Viti says if they don't see progress within the governance structure in 2012, they're on record as saying they'd like to see its abolition and replacement.
And we agree that Ron Johnson and his Board of Governors have made a real effort around increasing transparency. We're seeing increased and more frequent communication coming from the College of Trades. We applaud that. We welcome that. We'd like to see some real significant movement around balance on the governance side, and from the Merit Ontario perspective, we'd like to see a more effective and more balanced open shop voice at the governance level.
College of Trades recently released its ratio review process and schedule and roster of adjudicators. The first ratio review will begin in April 2012. Viti would like to see ratios in most trades around the 1-to-1 ratio seen within many jurisdictions in Canada.
Many of our employers are restricted on the growth side simply because of the ratios being 3-to-1 in most cases. Okay, and when it comes to electrical and plumbing, etc., that is the standard. We think that we can achieve both in terms of allowing our members to grow while protecting the safety of employees at that 1-to-1 ratio. But what's most important is the process must be evidence-based.
But an unbalanced representation within the industry can be a dangerous thing.
And any sector that has monopoly powers for 3 or 4 dominant players will ultimately lead to collusion and potentially corruption. We know that the Quebec experience, based on what's happening with the current inquiry, we know certainly Charest is dealing with some very difficult issues around corruption in the construction industry in Quebec. Our big worry, and we're not arguing that anyone intentionally is doing this, our big worry is if you put a College of Trades in place with overarching powers to control an industry, and that College of Trades doesn't represent both closed and open shop interests balanced and equally, that you will have potentially the complete domination of the union-dominated side of the sector. And with that side, because it's non-competitive, you will inherently have collusion emerging. And our greatest fear is, with collusion, you can't have corruption creeping in.
The Ontario Trades community is now waiting for the first ever ratio review panel this April. For the Daily Commercial News, I'm Kelly Lapointe.